In that previous class, we have discussed the factors which affect the population distribution. So there were geographical factors and non-geographical factors. The geographical factors included surface area, surface relief, factors affecting population distribution. First factor was geographical. Among the geographical factors, the first one was surface relief, which kind of surface is in a particular area. According to the relief, there will be more population. Like if the area is flat and plain, then it will have more probability of population, more people in a plain area. Um, then surface relief includes the factor of altitude. If the areas are very high, like mountains, like snow-capped mountains, people won't be living there. So altitude is a factor, and according to altitude, there are mountains. Mountains are not generally favored by people to build their houses because of its altitude and because of the unfriendly land in a mountain. Then second type is plateau according to altitude. So these are the subcategories. These are geographical factors. Surface relief is the first sub factor. So according to surface relief, the feature is altitude, and according to altitude, we have mountains. So people uh, won't live in mountains because of high altitude. Then plateau. If the plateau is at low altitude, people will live there. And if the plateau has water facilities and other life facilities, then it will have population, more population distribution. And after plateau, plain area. So this is the area where most number of people are found because of its um, plain relief. Then next factor is the climatic conditions. So people will not live if the climate is very hot or very cold. People would like to live in the areas where the climate is favorable. It's neither too hot nor too cold. So this is the climatic factor. Then after climatic condition, we have soil. If the soil is barren, if the soil is dry like deserts, people won't live there. And then we have mineral, excuse me, and energy resources. So if there are energy resources, if there are useful minerals, then people will build their houses over there. And next factor is vegetation. Vegetation is the type of plants which is found in any area. So if the vegetation is helpful for human population, excuse me, then there will be more population. Excuse me for that. Okay, then the next factor is disease. Now, a disease can be categorized as a geographical factor, and it can also be categorized as a non-geographical factor. But here, when we are taking disease as a geographical factor, then it means that it is mainly dealing with the diseases which are caused by nature, like malaria, like other different types of diseases which are spread by the nature, by the animals, and sometimes by plants, like um, pollen allergy. So that is a type of disease which is caused by nature. So the areas which have more disease will have less population compared to the areas where there are there are less diseases. Okay, then the next factor is supply of water. It is obvious that humans cannot survive without water. So an area which has more water will attract more population compared to the area which has less water. And the example is desert and some of the hilly areas and mountainous areas. Okay, so then there's another factor which is industrial center. Human population, especially in this 21st century, people prefer to live near the cities or the areas where there are industries and where there are facilities. So the term industrial center is used because if any area has industry or industrial center, it means that there will be better housing facilities, there will be water supply, there will be favorable climatic conditions, there will be medical facilities, and of course, all the above 7 points will be considered while making an industrial center. That's why around the industrial center, the population density is generally high. Okay, now the second group of factor is non-geographical factors. Non-geographical factors, and it includes the type and scale of economic activity. Now, scale of economic activity and type of economic activity. So, everywhere, the economic activities or um, the activity which people do to earn money and food are not same everywhere. For example, villages have very crude type of economic activity like farming, fishing, or lumbering or mining or forestry. So these are very basic type of economic activity. These are called as primary activity. So if any area has those primary type of activities, it will not attract a lot of population. But comparatively, if any area has advanced level of economic activity, advanced type of economic activity, like those are called as tertiary and quaternary, quinary, we will do those in the upcoming chapters. So that's why here I'm just mentioning those. So if the economic activities are higher, like service sector, and people are more educated and there are more industries and all types of good facilities, then um, there will be more population. And next factor is political influences. So a country which has good political policies and good political environment will attract more population compared to a country where political influences are bad and the political overall political conditions are not favorable, then people will not go in those areas. Like we can say Afghanistan, nobody would like to go and live there in Afghanistan because of the political factors and the government policies as well. But comparatively, people love to go to European countries and um, Australia, New Zealand, or we can say Canada, because of the political influences. They are politically stable, and there are policies which are favorable or which are suitable for people to go and live there. So, the countries with good but political influences have better population density or more population distribution. Right, then historical processes. Yes, I've just seen a question um, that, yeah, I am repeating this topic. Historical processes. Okay, so uh, with the word historical process, we can say there are certain areas in the world which have a rich history of human civilization. Like there are some places like Indus Valley, like the Ganges Valley, like Nile Valley, and the Fertile Crescent, which is uh, in Mesopotamia. So these are the areas, and then Amazon, and we can say the Greek civilization. So these are the areas where there was um, history of people living there with all different types of facilities, and those areas had been center of high population. So if any area has a historical process or a rich history, then people like to live in those areas. Okay, so and if we talk about the distribution of world population according to continents, I am clearing this, and if you want to take the screenshot, you can have it. Um, this lecture is being recorded, so you can have it later on, especially for those who have internet issues. All right, so now continent-wise world population. So, what are the different factors? I mean, what are the patterns of population in different continents of the world? So, let's start with the biggest continent in terms of area, in terms of population, which is Asia. So, Asia has the largest population in the world. Okay, it has the largest population it has the largest country by population and area. Largest country by population is China, while the largest country by area is Russia, and both these countries are in Asia. So now this is the topic which we have not done in the physical class. Okay, so why Asia has more population? So it's because of its environment and historical evolution. Like there is Indus Valley civilization, then the Chinese civilization is also in Asia. Southeast Asia has a rich um, population history. Then we have Mesopotamia, or we can say the Fertile Crescent. It's called as crescent because this area um, has a crescent like shape. Fertile Crescent of Tigris and Euphrates River. Tigris and Euphrates rivers. That's in Iraq, present day Iraq. Okay, so it has good harbors and favorable coastal settlements. Okay, so this is for Asia. The largest population is found here. Then the continent with the second largest population is Europe, and Europe has the highest density, highest population density. Most number of people living in unit area. Okay, so this is the highest population density in Europe, and it's around 2 to 300 persons per square kilometers. Okay, so it has ancient Greek civilization, plain areas. It has good rivers, plain areas with fertile soil, favorable climates, good coastal areas in some of the countries. Okay, so that's for Europe. Especially when we say good coastal areas, then it's more true for the southern part of Europe, which includes Italy, Greece, Spain, France, UK. So these are the countries where coastal areas are good. Okay, now Africa. Next continent is Africa. So if we talk about Africa, um, it has less population density. Africa has the less population density. And the reason behind is it has the largest desert, and deserts are not favorable. Apart from these deserts, apart from Sahara Desert, it has another one, which is the Kalahari Desert. Then Africa has thick tropical rainforest. Thick rainforest. Rainforest are the areas where it rains throughout the year, and the climate or
Ma'am?
the areas are not friendly for human settlements.
Ma'am?
Okay, so since this is a Zoom class, which is the trial version, so the class will be, I mean, the meeting will end by itself after 10 minutes. So if it ends, I'll share the link for the next class in Google Classroom. So let's see how much we can cover in the remaining 9.5 minutes. All right, so Africa, it has thick rainforest, and another reason for less population density is the tribal community there. People are not educated. So there are some parts of Africa which has a good population density, and that is the northern Africa. North part of Africa has good population, like Nigeria, Egypt, and some others. Okay, so that's for Africa. Now North America. North America. So it has slightly high population density because of favorable climate and ample of natural resources. Okay, then the central part and the eastern edge of this continent has good population. Okay, then South America. So this continent has high population density in northern parts, has the world's largest rainforest, which is Amazon forest. So that is the area where the population is less. And the areas which are in the Amazon basin, like the branches of the main Amazon river, those are fertile and people are uh, living in more numbers there. And the biggest country in this continent is Brazil. So it has a good number of population. Apart from Brazil, Argentina also has good population. Then we have the next continent, which is Australia. So along with this Australia, another country is mentioned all the time, and that is New Zealand. Australia and New Zealand. So population density is very less. In fact, if we talk about major countries of the world, then among the major countries, Australia has the least population density. Least populated, least, least population density in developed world, and it's because of the great sandy desert of Australia. The central part of this country has a desert, and people are, the population is very less in that part. But the southern part, the northern part, and the western part of Australia has a good number of population, especially the western edge, which faces the Pacific Ocean. That side has a lot of population, and New Zealand is an island. Uh, it's an archipelago, a combination of islands. So it has a lot of mountains and hilly region. That's why population density there is less. So, and the seventh population is Antarctica. We all know that there is no population in Antarctica. So, this is the population density according to continent. So, in the next lesson, we will discuss about settlements